Hello and welcome to St George's Church on this Palm Sunday. Except of course we're not in St George's Church. We're confined at home because of the coronavirus restrictions. Nevertheless, over the last couple of weeks, as a church we've been experimenting at meeting together using Zoom. It's been an opportunity for us to look at the weekly passage and then join together, see one another and talk face to face over the internet, just sharing our thoughts and really being together, what St George's Church has always been, a family church. And I do hope that as many of us as possible are able to join together again today, shortly, or later on in the week on one of the slots that can be found on the website. And this week as well, we've added something for our young people, our children, and there's a special page being created for Children's Church. And if any children and their parents go there, then there's an opportunity to watch a short video clip, and after that to join in their own Zoom group with regular Children's Church teachers. But it's all really about coming to worship, being the church that we are together. And as we seek to do that this morning, Michael and Cassie are going to lead us in a couple of songs.
At your name, the mountains shake and crumble. At your name, the oceans roar and tumble. At your name, angels will bow, the earth will rejoice, your people cry out. Lord of all the earth, we shout your name, filling up the skies with endless praise, Yahweh, Yahweh, we love to shout your name, oh Lord. At your name, the morning breaks in glory. At your name, creation sings your story. At your name, angels will bow, the earth will rejoice, your people cry out. Lord of all the earth, we shout your name, filling up the skies with endless praise, Yahweh, Yahweh, we love to shout your name, oh Lord. We shout your name, filling up the skies with endless praise, Yahweh, Yahweh, we love to shout your name, oh Lord.
Today's one of those days when we just can't really quite be sure what's going to happen. I've come out into the garden and, well, the sky's sort of mixed. There's cloud and there's blue sky. Sometimes there's sunshine. Sometimes it looks like it's going to rain any minute, and we don't quite know. We know something's going to happen, but we're not really sure what. And I suppose in many ways that's a little like we were as a nation just a few weeks ago. We'd seen stories from other parts of the world about the coronavirus. We knew really that something was coming, what it would be like, how it would affect us, precisely what would happen. Of course, we had no idea. And even now, looking forward, we don't know what the future holds. There's a degree of uncertainty. And in many ways, that must have been something like the atmosphere on that first Palm Sunday. Jesus was going down into the city of Jerusalem. He, of course, knew what was going to happen. He anticipated individuals and what their responses might be. And we see that when he sent the disciples ahead of him to prepare in the first 3 verses. Of course, the disciples, they didn't have a clue what was going to happen. Reading on, we see in verse 5 that, well, the prophets, they'd anticipated something because they're quoted. And then as the story progresses, well, the whole city knew something was going to happen. The crowds responded with great excitement. They took off palm leaves and threw them down in front of him. They shouted Hosanna to him. He was welcomed greatly. And yet there was a degree of uncertainty, because what we see at the end of our passage in verse 10 is the question is asked. The crowds, the whole city wanted to know, who is this? They asked. And the crowds replied, a prophet. That's all. A prophet from Galilee. They clearly missed the point. They clearly got something wrong. They knew something was going to happen, but they didn't know what. And in some ways, that's why Palm Sunday has always been such a special time for many Christians. That's why, under normal circumstances, we'd often take a palm cross, take it home, to focus our minds towards Easter, to help us to think about that question. Who is this who has come? And as we move on through this week and move on to the Easter story, maybe that's a question each of us need to hold. Who is this Jesus who entered Jerusalem? And what is it that he means to us? Well, I hope that you're all able to join us shortly in one of our Zoom groups, either today or through the week. And until then, go in peace to love and serve the Lord. In the name of Christ. Amen.